Welcome everyone. So looks like we are building ourselves another CPU mining rig. Everything we have is exactly the same as this rig, so let's get it done. So here we are once again building another CPU mining rig. Can't wait for this. I love building CPU mining rigs. I love building any rigs. They're awesome. So yeah, we have the exact same stuff. We're going to be building the exact same rig here. And then when we get everything finally tuned up and ready to go, we will be mining to a ledger. Now ledger did send this out. We'll be doing a video on that some other time, but XMR is more of a long-term type of ordeal till it comes out. So we're actually going to be mining to the ledger because hardware wallets are safer than normal online type of storage wallets because less acceptable to being hacked. Obviously, we all know Ledger's website did get hacked with a data leak, but their wallet itself is still safe and secure for crypto, and I still recommend it. Anyway, link is in the description if you want to pick up that. They are having some type of starter package discount thingamajigger, so be sure to check that out if you are looking for a hardware wallet. Anyway, so here we are. We have our stuff ready to roll. We're going to move this into my other room and start building this rig. Okay, so I was originally going to build the rig right here. This is where I will tune it, is beside my main workstation here. But the little one is playing PS4, Ark Survival Evolved, on the projector, so it is kind of noisy because I need to change the color wheel in there so it's buzzing, so it'll be kind of hard to do that. But yeah, here she is. It's a nice dinosaur survival game, and I do have a gaming channel based on that, but I have been neglecting it. But yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna go back to the other room. We're gonna build it there. I just thought I'd point out why I just said we would, and now we're not. So yeah, she's playing and she is wrecking stuff with her, looks like her Carno. But yeah, let's get back to this build. Okay, so here we are. First thing we do got to do, because we are putting on that big NHD 15 cooler from Noctua, we do got to remove the stock cooler type of brackets here. So we're going to pull these off here with a screwdriver right quick. It won't take very long at all. Just rip these out. Well, we're not ripping out because then we break stuff and crack a board, and we don't want that to happen whatsoever. So we're going to take that off. Now the weight is holding these up. If you were to lift this motherboard up right now, these pins would fall out. If we did see that in our last video. But yeah, so let's just continue here, pull these out. If I can get the screwdriver in there, sometimes it just won't go. All right, upsy daisy. And one more left to go. Sweet, 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 coming along nicely. Now to build one of these, it probably only takes like 10 minutes, not even. It is pretty quick to slap one of these together. There we go. Those are all done. Now let's just get our cooler brackets on. Okay, so next up, since we got the default brackets off, we are going to have to install these guys right here. The light is a little bright, and we got our little plastic stoppers right here and our screws in the corner there. And this is quite simple. Pretty much we just take each one of these, throw them on top of here like so. There we go. And then these, angling inward, gonna throw those on like this, and this one like so. And yeah, just to mess it up. Why am I so shaky? What is going on here? Too much coffee or something, guys, sorry. Okay, stay. There we go. All right, so now we'll just pretty much screw these in. Now we do have to be on the number 4 setting. We did just build one of these, so it is still pretty much fresh in the mind. If I can get these in the hole though, that is the other problem. Oh my gosh, I got stuff going all over the place. Just gonna start these by hand. There we go. Now I'll get this other guy back on. Oh, we're just running into heaps of problems. Good thing we're not trying to do a super speed build, because we would definitely be failing right now. Okay, get this one in here. In the hole, get her started. Nice. All right, let's screw these ones in. just go in till we can just feel it touch. That way you can still move it around, because once you get it tight, you will not be able to slide it around, because we got to make sure we are on hole number 4. Let's get that in there, just touching there. See, so now we're going to adjust it and tighten it down a bit, a little bit there. Now these are not like super threads. You do not want to torque the living daylights out of them. Just go a little bit. That one might be a little too tight. But yeah, these are definitely really easy to strip. So we got one on. Put my screwdriver back in the holder and we'll try to get the next side on. Looks like we're not as shaky this time, so that's a bonus. All you guys can see is probably my hand there. I can't really see what the camera's picking up right now. I just had it based on a majority position where I would be able to see all this. So again, screw them in till we just are snug or just feel it hit there. And here. Nice. Get that in. Slide it down. Now we will torque it down here. Not too much. And just to make sure. And good. All right, so that looks good right here. Next up, we will throw in our CPU. Next up is our CPU. So we do have that guy right here. It is in the package. Can't really see it like that, but whoa. Okay, the focus doesn't want to work. Anyway, so we'll go there. First thing you're going to want to do is unlatch here. Said this is a Ryzen, so there is no protective cover like the Intel CPUs have. They'll have a little black thing here. Yes, people have installed their CPU on that black cover or kept the black cover on and bent their pins. Do not do that. With Ryzens, you don't have to worry about it because they do not have it. Now, the Ryzen CPU does have a little, I was going to call it an ordeal. So always grab it by the side. So I have it out here. Let's see if I can get some view. There's a, let me zoom out a little bit, guys. Then we can actually get it better in focus. So you can see down here, there's a little arrow right there. You can see it bigger on this side. That side, there's the arrow. This one's kind of small depending if it'll focus on it, but it's harder to see, but it is there, trust me. Anyway, your motherboard will have the exact same thing. It is in this corner here. So we are gonna simply, we're not gonna drop it in, but we're gonna place it in like so. Now we're gonna give it a little wiggle just to make sure we are good. We know all the pins are in, and then we're gonna clamp it down. There we go. It is that simple. The CPU is now installed. We are all good to go. Next up, we are gonna put in our RAM. Here is our RAM. Now, if you haven't seen the other video, we'll run through this again. It does say AMD compatible DDR4 RAM. This is G.Skill Flare X, CL14 RAM, and I believe it is 8 gigabytes by 2. We have 2 sticks of this, so it is 16 gigabytes total. But as for the AMD compatible, we do not have to worry about this. With older Ryzen processors, you did need special RAM for them to work. They required their own, and then they just kept playing it on. But Intel and AMD RAM works for DDR4 and the Ryzen 3000, and I'm pretty sure 5000 series processors as well. So depending what RAM you get, the AMD or Intel compatible will not matter. So I just wanted to point that out again. Okay, so these are our RAM slots. We have 2 sticks, so you are going to want to run dual channel. Depending how your motherboard is, it depends. Majority of them are 1 in each slot. This will be like channel A, channel B, and we're going to be running 2. For this one, it is the second pin from the CPU and our last pin. Now, you got to keep in mind, look at your motherboard's manufacturing specs to see exactly where yours is, and make sure you line it up because they are at different sides. This side is longer than that side. If you flip it around, you'll see that that slot right there does not match where our slot is here. So we're just going to make sure we get it right. We're going to put that in this side. Here we are at the shaking again. All right, so we're there, and you just clamp down. Both sides are in. Bang. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the outside one. And there we go. Clamp her down. There we go. Our RAM is now installed nice and tight. These can get a little loose if you have boot up problems or whatever. It could be a stick is really loose, or you could have a dead stick of RAM. To troubleshoot that, just try one stick at a time. Try them both, and if they both work on one, then try installing them both again, because it could just be loose, but you also do end up quite commonly with a bad sticker RAM. Hopefully both of these are good. So far in our last rig we were lucky, and we'll see what happens on this one. The reason I did install this before putting the cooler on is because with some coolers, and this is a big bulky one, you may not be able to get your actual inside RAM stick in, but in our last video when we did make that other CPU rig with the exact same settings, we did have enough to actually fit it. But it's just nice practice to put your RAM in before you actually put in your cooler. That way you know you won't run into problems of trying to install your RAM after the fact and needing to pull this right apart and then having to wipe off all your thermal paste and all that stuff and reapply it. And just to save a step, just in case you do run into a problem. Oh, I just want to point out, this did come with a nice little G-Skill sticker, so if you guys want this, maybe this will be used in a future giveaway. I'm just kidding, guys. Yeah, it has a sticker, big deal, throw it out. So the Noctua NHD15 does come with its own thermal paste. You can see it right there. And we know we just built this. We have one I bought a long time ago. It came with one. We got another, what is that? Arctic or FX or what is this stuff? Oh, MX. And we got MX4 from RebTech. They sent that when we did that fan replacement job. So we're not going to open any of these. We're just going to stick with the one we've been using, which is this one. And we don't have to worry about opening none of these. So if you did order the Noctua NHD15 cooler, you do not have to worry about purchasing any thermal paste because it does come with it. So before applying thermal paste to anything, I don't know, it's just me. I don't know if it's recommended or not, but if you're using used or new, even a new, I do use this, but I take it and I try and squeeze it into a little bit of toilet paper or something, whatever you have around, just in case there's some type of gobbledygoops there. Just to be safe that you're getting some nice fresh stuff. So now we could, the camera would focus right, there we go. So now we could apply this because we got any type of gunk up that could be there or hard stuff sitting out of the way, so we're nice and fresh. As for application, most Intel processors, all you need to do is put a little bead in the middle about a P side. But with Ryzen CPUs from 3000 up, they do have two little chips in them, one off center a bit here and one's about right here. So you are going to want to cover those are your hot spots. So I recommend doing the type of line method when it does come to Ryzen CPUs. Our other one is running amazing and this is what we used on it. So I'm just gonna, whoa, it's sticking to it, horrible job. Okay, but we're gonna go like so, there. So that looks like that should work good for us, and hopefully it does. Okay, so here is our beast of a cooler. This thing works amazing, especially for CPU mining and gaming and whatever else you need. This is like the top-notch air cooler of all time. Anyway, first thing you're gonna have to do is, obviously we're gonna get this cardboard out of here. We have to pull this middle fan out, and that way we can actually get at these screws. So I'm just going to do that off camera, and then we'll just mount this in place and tighten her down. Okay, so we got this stripped down. The plastic cover is still on. I shouldn't have to tell you, but make sure you take that off before you do place this, or it will melt and possibly start a fire, because these CPUs can get hot like 100 degrees if you're not using it right. Anyway, that was kind of off there, so we are going to take the cover off. There we go. Now we're just going to place this down. These holes here, get the focus, these will come up and they screw into these. So we're just gonna plop this in there and hopefully we can get her. Actually, I better get to the other side so I can actually see what I'm doing. It comes with its own super long Phillips screwdriver just to get in those hard to reach long places. Let me get around here, get my mic kind of set up. You probably hear all sorts of banging and clashing because of that. So here we go. We are placing this down like so. Now you're going to want to just get it to start slightly on each side before you actually finish getting it in position. So that one felt like it caught. Same with this one. You want to get it in the hole there. Can be kind of a pain sometimes. So I think we did catch there. So yeah, I'm just going to do a couple at a time. So we're going to go 1, 2 here. Then we're going to go back and forth a couple times just so that we go down nice and evenly, squishing that thermal paste around. Nice even spread across that CPU, because if it is not even or you have spots, you will get hot spots and it won't necessarily cool as well as it should. So if you do notice problems like with temperature or something, even with this cooler, that means you probably didn't get a proper spread, so you will have to do a reapplication of thermal paste, please clean the old one off first, because you do want to start from scratch. So we're getting pretty close by now, I think, but guess we'll find out. Go a couple. I just felt it catch there. Now this side we will tighten right down, and then we'll go back to the other side. All right, come on, we should almost be there. All right, so little bit of force, not too much. Said you will strip this out and be kind of screwed. Little bit of force. All right, so that looks good. Now we just gotta put our fans on here. Now because the Noctua does have 2 fans, it does come with this little splitter. So this end will go on your CPU 1 fan header, and this will go to the 2 fans that are actually on your cooler itself. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up. We have our fans and everything in place. Now I gotta move it to the other room to do the tests, and that's where we'll hook the power and stuff up in a different video. But just to point out some things here, this CPU does have an 8-pin as well as a 4-pin. We mentioned it a little bit in the other video, but this 4-pin, you do not need to use it. That's more of a overclocking marketing gimmick to gamers, so you do not have to worry whatsoever. All you need is the single 8-pin, and you will be 100% fine, especially with CPU mining, even gaming, all that. You don't need it, really. Like I said, marketing scam. And we'll need to add our power switch. That goes right here in the bottom right corner if you have this motherboard. And it will go on the top 2 pins right here. So top right corner, 1 pin is missing right there, and it'll go just to the 2 left. That is where you power it up. So you only need the switch once you turn it on with your power switch, and then you go into the BIOS and you tell it to turn on automatically after a power failure or whatever. At that point forward, you can unplug your switch and you'll never need to use it again. Every time you turn off or on your power supply, this will turn on automatically. Same with any other type of mining rig and motherboard. You always do that and you are set. So there we are. This is it. We did build this. Didn't take too long at all. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. We actually do some tuning, and hopefully we get this working pretty good in Hive OS and throw some cards on it.